Good day, everyone. We are here to present to you about the alternative energy resources. As time goes by, the world continue to improve and develop such an amazing idea about the resources that we can use today and in the future. And today, we will tackle and discuss about the significant resources that we need to our life and our country also. This topic is all about the alternative energy resources that is connected to our environmental issues and climate change. The renewable energy resources, sustainability issues, and climate change mitigation seek to help and the needs of human and economy in order to be sustainable and in order to meet energy demand for the future generations. This can help to achieve the goal of renewable energy, thus reduce emissions, mitigate climate change, and provide a clean and environment as well as energy for all and the future generations.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I am Angeline Macapagal, and here's are my co-members. We have Cheska Luis, Joy Mesamblero, and JM Tagana, and we are the Group 3. So for today's episode, we will discuss about the possible alternative energy resources. So first, let me explain what is alternative energy resources. So this is the another resources that we can use other than the primary resources. And what are these alternative energy resources? These are the solar energy, hydropower, windmill, and other resources that use of natural waste such as sun, air, and water. These alternative resources can help to lessen the greenhouse gases or carbon pollution that cause of this climate change that we experiencing now. So our discussion will be more focused on the article we have, and these are a review of renewable energy resources, sustainability issues, and climate change mitigation. Through the years, the population of each country has been increased, and because of this, the world needed more energy, means continued use of burning materials or fossil fuels to have energy, and that's the reason why the greenhouse gases are continued damaging that cause of climate change. But there is a chance to heal that and to avoid climate change, and that is using of renewable energy resources that use of natural waste.
As our population grows, there is also an increase for the need of energy, which will result to rapid carbon dioxide emission that is harmful to the environment. People always use energy in their day-to-day living. The most common energy that we use are burned fossil fuels, which causes climate change. Nowadays, there are a lot of alternative energy sources that can help reduce climate change. Though these renewable energy sources should be sustainable and can meet daily energy needs for the current and future generations.
So, the needs of human nowadays are continuing to grow so as the need of the energy and the related services to satisfy human social and economic development. Also, the welfare and health is increasing too. Energy source greatly contributed to the climate change challenges for the better future for the next generation. It uh, increased population led to growing demand for energy resulting in global challenges. So therefore, These alternative energy sources hold the great potential to displace greenhouse gas emission from fossil fuel-based power generating and mitigating climate change.
So our first topic would be renewable energy sources and sustainability. So yung renewable energy sources, gumagamit ito ng natural way to have an energy such as wind, sun, or water without harmful effect to the earth. So yung renewable is kaya na din ma-reach yung needs natin sa energy just like using of primary resources. At maganda siya dahil natutulungan niyang mahil yung dami sa greenhouse gases na nagkukos ng climate change around the world. And isa pa is, mas advantage siya compare sa primary resources dahil pwede pa rin tayo magkaroon ng kuryente kahit na may bagyo, sakuna, or shortage of electricity pa yan. So ano nga ba itong mga energy sources na ito? These are hydropowers, modern biomass, geothermal, solar, solar direct, wind energy, and ocean energy. And later, one of my co-members will explain the benefits, use, or advantages of these sources.
Climate change is an ongoing and serious environmental issue that we are facing. Climate change is a long-term shift in weather and temperature pattern. This is caused by us humans by using oil, gas, and coal. When fossil fuels are burned, it will emit large amount of carbon dioxide, a type of greenhouse gas. This greenhouse gas will trap heat, which makes the planet's temperature rise that leads to climate change. Intense weather events affects lives and livelihood of people. There are various impacts of climate change. It will melt glaciers, rise of sea levels, and warm oceans. That will directly affect the animals. Some parts of the earth will experience increased heat and intense drought that turns farmlands into desert, while the other regions will face extreme rainfall resulting to flooding. As the climate change worsens, the weather events will become frequent and severe. While renewable energy is a clean source of energy because it comes from natural sources. Therefore, it will reduce environmental impact since it doesn't produce greenhouse gases from burned fossil fuels, reducing air pollution, and are sustainable as the sources are abundant.
Good morning everyone, I'm Joymi Semblero and I'm going to discuss about renewable energy sources, sustainability issues, and the climate change mitigation. And one of that issue is renewable energy sources and technology. When we think about climate change, it's easy to focus on reducing emissions to maintain a healthy global temperature. There are renewable energy resources that help us to fight against climate change because these energy resources can produce electricity with fewer environmental impacts. So let's move on to the hydropower. Hydropower relies on the water, typically fast-moving water in a large river or rapidly descending water from a high point and converts the force of that water into electricity by spinning a generator's turbine blades. So hydropower brings many benefits to the communities and helps to fight against climate change by providing essential electricity, storage, and flexible services. It also provides benefits beyond electricity generation by providing flood control, irrigation support, and clean drinking water. So next is bioenergy. Bioenergy is an energy that came from living organic material. It can be used to produce electricity, thermal energy, or transportation fuels with the use of waste from plants and animals that are used by the companies and manufacturing. The advantages of this bioenergy are that it reduces waste from plants and animals, thus it can create a sustainable sources of energy from using waste. But it has also a disadvantages from the environment because burning woods and plants creates other emissions in addition to carbon and contribute to pollution. Next is direct solar energy. Direct solar energy is directly came from the sun. When the energy source is converted directly to electricity, it is called direct energy. So this process uses a direct conversion method from one form to another. We can harness this energy for a variety of uses, including generating electricity and heating purposes. The photovoltaic solar panels are an example of a direct form of energy. In this system, solar panels are convert solar radiation directly to electricity. The main benefit of this solar energy is that it does not produce any pollutants in our environment because it is one of the cleanest sources of energy. It doesn't have any environmental issues because it is very natural and directly came from the sun and is ecologically acceptable. So next is geothermal. The word geothermal comes from the Greek words geo means earth and thermal means heat. Geothermal energy is a renewable energy sources because heat is continuously produced inside the earth. This energy is directly coming from the subsurface of the earth. It can be used for heating, cooling purposes, and to generate clean electricity. The use of this is to avoid the problems of acid rain and greatly reduce greenhouse gas emissions and other forms of air pollution in the environment. Thus, it represents the second most substantial source of primary energy on Earth after solar energy because this energy source can be used in the construction sector for the development of low-carbon buildings. Geothermal energy can be considered as a clean and environment-friendly energy source as it generates no or minimal greenhouse gas emissions because the conversion and utilization process do not involve any chemical reactions.
Wind energy. Wind is an abundant source of energy. To produce electricity from wind, turbines are used to drive generators that will feed electricity. These wind turbines convert kinetic energy from wind into energy. It is one of the fast-growing energy sources in the world. It is environmental friendly. It, it is a clean fuel source. Cost efficient because its fuel, the wind, is free. And sustainable. The wind is everywhere. As long as the wind blows, energy can be harnessed. Ocean energy. Ocean energy or tide and wave energy is a type of renewable energy obtained from the sea. Energy is generated by converting energy within the ocean. The greater the wave height is, the more energy it produces. There are various ways of obtaining energy from ocean. Example are tide and waves. It produces mechanical energy, and thermal, which comes from the sun's heat. There is a vast amount of energy within our ocean, although it is not yet widely developed globally. Several countries like UK, Australia, and Canada are doing research to grow this market. There are pros and cons on this type of renewable energy. It is clean. It does not produce greenhouse gas. It is abundant, especially with countries that have long coastline. However, it may affect marine life through turbine blade strike, and tidal barrage can change the salinity or salt content of the water.
So, renewable energy and sustainable development. This has a direct connection between the renewable energy and the sustainable development that has an impact on human development and economic productivity. The renewable energy sources provide the opportunity in energy security, social and economic development, and the energy access. Climate change mitigation and the reduction of environmental and health impacts opportunities of renewable energy sources towards the sustainability development. So the first is energy security. The energy security is based on the idea that there is a continuous supply of energy which is critical for running an economy. It reduces an economy vulnerability to the price of the volatility where it represents many opportunities to enhance the energy across the globe. We all know that the energy sources have become the alternative and interference of economic growth and challenge for the country that is currently developed or even developing in order to access energy consumption and stable energy supply. The second is social and economic development. These energy sources, when it comes to the social and economic development, is the key to the economic growth and the expansion of energy consumption. And it improves that it creates a big opportunity for the country to improve health, education, and environmental safety. So, third is energy access. Energy access seek to ensure the sustainability of a clean, affordable, and availability and accessible to all and generally distributed across the globe. And it tends to achieve the electricity or energy access that is clean and affordable for a country that and the climate change also. So the climate change mitigation and the reduction of environmental and the health impacts. So here is all about the climate mitigation and the reduction of the environmental and health impacts where the renewable energy sources is used in energy as an alternative in generation in order to reduce greenhouse gases, which is mitigates the climate change. It reduces environmental and health complications that basically associated with the pollutants from fossil fuel sources of energy.
So our last topic will be challenges affecting renewable energy sources. So, renewable energy sources is the other option of having energy supply with low carbon pollution. So, one of the major challenges is on how they organize the energy transition from non-sustainable to renewable energy. We see on the picture the interconnection of factors affecting renewable energy supplies and sustainability. It shows that the major barriers of using renewable energy sources is the policy of each countries and the policy instrument which can affect the cost and technological innovation that can lead to market failure and low patronization of renewable energy technology. Kaya hindi pag-aano masyado kinoconsider yung mga renewable as main energy sources kasi madami pang conflict na pwede makaapekto sa pag-release or paggawa nito.
So, before we share our thoughts, we will just play a short video about renewable energy sources. It is just an overview of our topic.
Every year, the world uses 35 billion barrels of oil. This massive scale of fossil fuel dependence pollutes the earth, and it won't last forever. Scientists estimate that we've consumed about 40% of the world's oil. According to present estimates, at this rate, we'll run out of oil and gas in 50 years or so, and in about a century for coal. On the flip side, we have abundant sun, water, and wind. These are renewable energy sources, meaning that we won't use them up over time. What if we could exchange our fossil fuel dependence for an existence based solely on renewables? We've pondered that question for decades, and yet renewable energy still only provides about 13% of our needs. That's because reaching 100% requires renewable energy that's inexpensive and accessible. This represents a huge challenge, even if we ignore the politics involved and focus on the science and engineering. We can better understand the problem by understanding how we use energy. Global energy use is a diverse and complex system, and the different elements require their own solutions. But for now, we'll focus on two of the most familiar in everyday life: electricity and liquid fuels. Electricity powers blast furnaces, elevators, computers, and all manner of things in homes, businesses, and manufacturing. Meanwhile, liquid fuels play a crucial role in almost all forms of transportation. Let's consider the electrical portion first. The great news is that our technology is already advanced enough to capture all that energy from renewables, and there's an ample supply. The sun continuously radiates about 173 quadrillion watts of solar energy at the Earth, which is almost 10,000 times our present needs. It's been estimated that a surface that spans several 100,000 kilometers would be needed to power humanity at our present usage levels. So why don't we build that? Because there are other hurdles in the way, like efficiency and energy transportation. To maximize efficiency, solar plants must be located in areas with lots of sunshine year-round, like deserts. But those are far away from densely populated regions, where energy demand is high. There are other forms of renewable energy we could draw from, such as hydroelectric, geothermal, and biomasses, but they also have limits based on availability and location. In principle, a connected electrical energy network with power lines crisscrossing the globe would enable us to transport power from where it's generated to where it's needed. But building a system on this scale faces an astronomical price tag. We could lower the cost by developing advanced technologies to capture energy more efficiently. The infrastructure for transporting energy would also have to change drastically. Present-day power lines lose about 6 to 8% of the energy they carry because wire material dissipates energy through resistance. Longer power lines would mean more energy loss. Superconductors could be one solution. Such materials can transport electricity without dissipation. Unfortunately, they only work if cooled to low temperatures, which requires energy and defeats the purpose. To benefit from that technology, we'd need to discover new superconducting materials that operate at room temperature. And what about the all-important oil-derived liquid fuels? The scientific challenge there is to store renewable energy in an easily transportable form. Recently, we've gotten better at producing lithium-ion batteries, which are lightweight and have high energy density. But even the best of these store about 2.5 megajoules per kilogram. That's about 20 times less than the energy in 1 kilogram of gasoline. To be truly competitive, car batteries would have to store much more energy without adding cost. The challenges only increase for bigger vessels like ships and planes. To power a cross-Atlantic flight for a jet, we'd need a battery weighing about 1,000 tons. This too demands a technological leap towards new materials, higher energy density, and better storage. One promising solution would be to find efficient ways to convert solar into chemical energy. This is already happening in labs, but the efficiency is still too low to allow it to reach the market. To find novel solutions, we'll need lots of creativity, innovation, and powerful incentives. The transition towards all renewable energies is a complex problem involving technology, economics, and politics. Priorities on how to tackle this challenge depend on the specific assumptions we have to make when trying to solve such a multifaceted problem. But there's ample reason to be optimistic that we'll get there. Top scientific minds around the world are working on these problems and making breakthroughs all the time. And many governments and businesses are investing in technologies that harness the energy all around us.
So, before tayo matapos, let's share kung ano yung natutunan or realization natin about sa topic na ito. So, ako na lang siguro muna mauuna. What I learned about this topic is let's do more research that can help in an environment, especially on how to reduce the greenhouse gases or carbon pollution that cause of climate change. And these renewable sources is one of the alternative resources that has low to near zero carbon pollution, which consider as alternative to fossil fuels or other burning materials that cause of climate change. And because of that, let's now practice to use these renewable sources as soon as possible before lumala yung greenhouse gases or yung carbon pollution. Because in the end of the day, tayo pa rin yung pwedeng maapektuhan ng climate change. So let's be more responsible not just only in ourselves, but also to our nature.
As the population grows, the demand for energy also increases. That's why we need a sustainable energy source that is not harmful to our planet. Renewable energy can be sustainable and helps our planet by slowing and reversing climate change. Expansion and innovation of these renewable sources can bring sustainable future for future generations and improve social and economic development. Although there are challenges that hinders the sustainability and the ability to reduce climate change of these renewable sources. These challenges are lack of information, market failure, and access to raw materials.
So overall, this is shown that renewable energy sources were sustainable and now shift from fossil fuel based on the energy to help reduce climate change and the impacts to the environment. Since the energy is a requirement to the everyday life of people, of improving human development, leading to a economic growth and productivity. That's all. Thank you.